Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters on That podcast. I'm your host, Brent. And today, welcome to a special guest from down there in the deep south of Florida. We got Bill and we got Eric, and then eventually we're going to have Brent join us, but right now he's just finishing up drum lessons right now. But we got the band Out of Darkness. How you boys doing today?
Very good. How are you?
Not too bad.
So far, so good.
Yeah. And actually, before Eric hopped on, Bill told me he was a former Pittsburgh native as well. So, I guess, Eric, have you lived in Florida your whole life?
Yeah, I'm a native Floridian, born and raised in Miami. I currently live in Orlando, and I travel to and from Jacksonville to do Out of Darkness.
Yeah, before I'll be on here, I actually checked out your music video for KNTRL. So,
Nice.
I guess real quick, or Bill or Eric, I guess whoever wrote the song here too, I guess, what's that one about?
That song, it's about breaking free from constraints, whether that be society or your family or your job or whatever it is that you feel might be holding you back from living your life the way you want to be or being who you want to be. It's about breaking free from the chains that hold us back.
Or as Misery Index would say, the chains that bind.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. And actually, it showed a little behind the scenes with Bill talking about his little guitar solo that he was doing there too. So,
Yeah.
All right. Actually, where'd you do that music video at? Was that a local studio in Jacksonville?
No, that was we shot that in our band room where we rehearse. It's a guy we've used before. His business is called Brutal Noodle Studios, and so he came out. I think he lives somewhere by you, Eric, down near Orlando.
He lives outside of Orlando in a place called Deltona.
Okay, yeah. So he drives up to Jacksonville. That's where Brent lives. We rehearse at Brent's.
That's cool. And just one last thing about the music video. What do the letters stand for?
That's it stands for control. It's a funny way of spelling control. Part of what gave the sonic aesthetic to the song. There's this movie I saw when I was a kid called Control, spelled with a K. It's about some subway station workers, and it was so bleak and dark. And I think a lot of what I saw in that film kind of inspired the sounds of this track. So that's part of where the title comes from. It's kind of a nod to that flick, but also it spells out control, just like what the lyrics talk about. Yeah, the puppet masters of our world.
Master of the Puppets, if we want to throw in a little Metallica reference.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's pretty cool. Actually, the reason I brought that up too, I was thinking it was probably, I had a feeling maybe it was control, but I thought maybe it was like each letter was like standing for something. So, you never know. So, it's best to ask. So,
Yep.
All right. But I guess outside the music video, I guess, how you boys been recently? What's new?
Go ahead, Eric.
Well, we just wrapped up our re-recording of our first record. We had to kind of reclaim our music, so part of the process was re-recording it. So that's what we did. We finished recording it, and we're putting it out now. It comes out July 4th in just a couple of days. We're really excited about it. Obviously, we just released our music video for Control. We've got another music video coming at the start of August for Welcome Home. It's a King Diamond cover that we featured on the album. And we're kind of gearing up some promotional campaigns in the background for all of that. And we're going to quickly re-record what we have to do for our second record. Most of it's actually done already, so it's going to be pretty quick. And then we're moving right along to our third record. So we're really excited about that. We hope to start the third record by the end of the year.
I was going to say, when you said reclaim, it sounded like, did you lose it initially? Did someone like steal it for some reason?
I'll let Bill tell the story.
Yeah, well, we're going to be careful what we say. Just one of the situations, and you've probably heard of a million bands where they have some people that help them initially, and you do things, on a handshake, and let's just say that it didn't end up well. And so you can fight things legally. You could spend thousands to make hundreds, basically. Or, so we decided to re-record this just to be free and clear of the past. Let's say that. But it was also a good thing because the songs, I didn't write any of the songs in the EP. It was Eric almost entirely, with Brent as well, because they started the band. But the songs have changed a lot over the past few years, because when they recorded those, they had never played them together. They were studio creations. And Eric, correct me if I'm wrong about any of this, but now since they've taken on a life after being played out for a few years, and with me in the band now, and they just have a lot more energy now, I think.
They're better than ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of started off with a clean slate, yeah.
It's because Bill put his mojo on it.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's a good idea to stretch before jumping into those sorts of things there too. So yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. Actually, you know what? Were you guys real big into the cartoons? I was thinking back to Grove Adventures of Billy and Mandy, where Grove's just getting warmed up, be like, just getting the mojo flowing, that sort of deal. He's like, Mama say, Mama saw, Mama cosa. Mama say, Mama saw, Mama cosa. That old deal.
It's that track, that old school R&B track, yeah. The Michael Jackson reference on that. What's that song called? Oh, it's such a great song.
Starting something, gotta be starting something. Yeah.
That's it. That's the one.
I had no idea about that, but man, all right, that was a clever reference.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I just thought maybe they were just goofing around. I mean, cartoons of those days, they kind of make funny noises and just do random stuff at times. So
no, listen to the Michael Jackson song, "Got to Be Starting Something." There's a whole breakdown where that's the chant that he does.
Yeah,
yep.
And it's totally awesome. It's like such an exciting ending to that song. I love that song. It's powerful.
Well, I've never heard it. I only listen to metal. I was told about it.
I was the same way too. Unfortunately, they kept dissing Michael Jackson, or they kept playing Thriller, that old deal. So
yeah,
of course he'd like do the moonwalk, and then that so-called lean he was always doing, if we want to call it the moon lean or whatever it was called. So
yeah,
that's all I was saying. So
he was a talented guy. I don't know about the rest of it, but musically and obviously he could dance. That was great.
Oh yeah.
Obviously. So, all right. But we learned something new with this podcast. So that's why we like doing this. So, but boys, I guess while we're waiting on Brent to join, I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. So,
sure.
Welcome to my podcast. So the way it's going to work is just want to ask you guys some questions. Let's get to know you more, both as the musicians, but also as the individuals as well here too. So, you both ready?
Sure.
All right. So, I guess we'll go by seniority in this case. So, I'm assuming Eric, or is it more because the facial hair makes him look old?
Oh my God! I suppose seniority speaking, I was in the band first.
Okay, all right.
I'm a couple years older than Eric, but he's been in the band longer.
Okay, fair enough. All right. All right, we'll do Eric and then Bill. So, all right. So, Eric, I guess what role do you play in the band, and then what's your backstory about how you became a musician?
Right. So when I was a kid, I was really into the piano that we had at my grandma's house. Every time that we went over there, I'd just sit there and tinker around, make some noise. I started learning little melodies and stuff, and that kind of started it off. But then I would listen to the radio in the car when my parents were driving, and I always got these hooks in my head, and I feel like I kept on thinking about those songs all day, every day. And eventually, when I started taking music classes in elementary school, there's like a required music course that they give you. And I got into the recorder, and I took it way too serious. Then by middle school, I was into the trumpet, and again, I took it way too seriously. They gave me a tenor saxophone, and I loved that. I was infatuated. But I really wanted to play the bass guitar. So my parents gave me a gift when I started high school. They gave me a 4-string Silvertone bass guitar. And that's what got me into the stringed instruments. And I went nuts from there. After that, I got an electric guitar. I got into the classical guitar as well, 6, 7, and eventually 8-string guitars. And eventually I got into singing. I couldn't find a singer for my bands through the years. So I gave up that search and said, I'm going to do it myself. So I did what I needed to do to find a voice coach, and and worked myself up into gear. I went through a few different coaches, actually, funny enough, until I found the one that I feel like really unlocked a lot for me. And I guess that's what led me eventually to make a bunch of videos on the internet, and then get a phone call from this guy and come to do Out of Darkness. And that's my musical journey.
That's pretty cool. And I do have to admit, because are you doing all the vocal work, or do you kind of split duties with some of the other members of the group?
Well, I mean, live, everybody. Bill does some backing vocals, and our new bass player, he also does some backing vocals. And in the studio, I guess so far it's been just my voice, unless Bill snuck something in there. Bill's actually a really good singer, and he doesn't admit it. But I know he's so humble, so ridiculously humble. But I think in the future we'll have a little bit more of the other guys' voices in there too. You know, especially for harmonies and stuff. I kind of see it coming along more.
I admit, I definitely love the Death Crowds. I was here with Control right there too. So
Nice.
you killing it, man. You thinking
Thank
and
you.
shit. So
Thank you.
all right. So I guess Bill, what's your story and what's your role in the group?
Sure. My name is Bill Staley. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, actually a little town northeast of Pittsburgh called Lower Borough. I got into guitar for, I guess, the cliched reason it was a girl. In school, I guess it was junior high. I liked this girl, and I was too nervous to call her, so my friend did, and it turns out she had a boyfriend, but her boyfriend played guitar, and so I was like, oh man, I can't compete with that. Like, I should learn to play guitar if that's what girls like. So I'm still trying to learn how to play guitar, but I didn't get that girl, but I learned how to play guitar eventually. I'm still learning. Yeah. So I did move out to Los Angeles for a little while. After high school, I went to GIT, the Musicians Institute. I left there at a death in the family, had to leave, moved to Texas. Eventually ended up back in Pittsburgh for a few years, and it moved down to Florida, I guess it was around 2013, and ran into these guys. I knew of Brent. Brent's pretty legendary in the metal world, Iced Earth. But I was fortunate enough to meet Brent, which led to meeting Eric and the band that I was in at the time. We opened up for Out of Darkness, and just made the connection. And then when they had some lineup changes, they asked me if I wanted to be part of it, and here we are.
Oh, so the group didn't really form by just forming in the garage, for instance, or I guess in someone's basement, because normally that's how it goes. And then, so there was already a group that was already formed, and then you guys just stepped in to fill in the shoes.
I'll let Eric explain that. Yeah.
This was a precisely assembled heavy metal unit. Funny enough, we had our eyes on Bill since that very first night. It was actually Out of Darkness' first show that Bill's prior band had opened up for, or one of our first. It was either the first or second. It was right there, right at the beginning. We saw Bill that night, and we said, "Oh man, we got to get that guy." And eventually it happened after a few lineup changes, when the wheels turned, the time came, and man, thank goodness we got him, because this guy's magic. But yeah, this band was assembled. It wasn't like an accidental thing. It wasn't, we didn't bump into each other at class or something. It was a manufactured product, and I'm very thankful for that, because we have some killer musicians, and I couldn't be more grateful to play with such excellent people like Brent and Bill.
Who was the guy from Orlando that put together the boy bands?
Lou Pearlman.
Lou Pearlman. Yeah, he could have put us together. We're right there with NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, right?
It was a very Lou Pearlman kind of a situation.
I was going to say maybe the nice black leather jackets, the jeans, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple chains. I don't know. I don't know
Don't
if
give
they
us
actually roll
ideas.
chains.
We've still got videos to shoot. Don't give us ideas.
That'll be a nice little OnlyFans additional page if we wanted to. All right. I guess, how did you guys meet Brent? Because Bill, I think you said he was part of I Surfed at one point.
Yeah, so how I met him, I knew of him just living in town because it's kind of just known in town. Brent's the best drummer in town. He's kind of legendary here. And I was playing in a cover band here, and I think he happened to be out at a club just checking us out, and met him, and we kind of hit it off, and traded numbers, and Facebook friends and that whole deal, and we talked about doing some stuff probably around 2017, 18, before Out of Darkness, but he was really occupied with Iced Earth, and so that never quite got off the ground. We had worked on some stuff in the studio, and then I went my way, he went his with Iced Earth, and then the whole January 6th thing, and then Brent became more available after that. But I don't know about how Eric met him.
Brent and I's first meeting was at an open mic night in Orlando at a place called The Dungeon. Oh, I'm sorry, not The Dungeon. The Dungeon was that bar owner's previous bar, but it closed down and turned into this other bar. But we were at an open mic, and we jammed some tunes. I think we played some Judas Priest or some Dio. Yeah, we played a Dio song, I think Rainbow in the Dark or something. And I think we played some Motorhead too, and some Maiden. So we had a really good jam night. We hit it off really well. The chemistry was there right away. It was a click. Brent is he's like a metronome. So it's really easy to play along with a drummer like that. So that's how we met. It was an open mic night, and we hit it off real great.
Yeah, so which Iron Maiden songs were you trying to play? Were you doing the Number of the Beast, or were you trying to do like some of his? We
did the Trooper. We for sure did the Trooper that night. Actually, I think that was the one Maiden tune that we played. And we played the Ace of Spades from Motorhead. I think we played Breaking the Law from Judas Priest. And Rainbow in the Dark from Dio.
Those are all great choices there too. Yeah. I have to admit, when I was kind of listening to your voice there, I could kind of, I want to say kind of like a Sleep Token sort of feel. I don't know, but I guess would you say he was like part of your influences?
Well, Sleep Token, I don't know when did Sleep Token come along? Like a couple years ago or something?
Something like that.
I haven't really heard Sleep Token yet. Everybody's been talking about it, and I haven't really had a chance to sit there and listen to their records. So I've got to do that sometime.
Yep.
They're getting a big push.
Yep.
There's the man.
The man of the hour. Brent, how you doing there, brother? Not too bad.
Good, man. Thanks for having us.
No worries. Actually, we'll just talk about you too, because it seems like you and Eric had met at one point, and they also talked about your role in Iced Earth there too. So I'm actually curious about that too. Actually, what year did you join Iced Earth? Was it around the time Ralston Tola was still there?
No, it was. I was in and out of the band a few times, so it was before Ralph. I got with them right after they finished recording for the Dark Saga, so in '96.
Yeah, rest in peace too. I wish we got to know him a little bit more there too, because I know he's real good friends with Jack Owen, and eventually they went off to Dia's side. And they formed the Stench of Redemption album together too. So that's why I brought it up too, because you see the description talk about it. But all right, but I guess just to kind of circle back to some of the questions I was asking Bill and Eric here. I guess Brent, what's your story about how you became a musician?
Okay. Well, I first started playing. I started on piano, like a lot of people do. I was about 7. Me and my older brother, my mother made us both take piano first, and he stuck with it for about 10 years. I did it for probably less than a year, and I just couldn't get the knack of doing the bass line with the left hand and the melody with the right. I couldn't separate like that. So I decided I wanted to play drums. My neighbor at the time was a disabled Vietnam vet, and he was a drummer. He started giving me drum lessons and stuff, and he even let me take his drum set over into my house, and he was giving me 3 lessons a week at first, man. I took from him for a couple of years, and then I stopped because I was a kid. I wanted to go play with all the other kids and whatever, but I got serious again when I was about 13, got a real professional teacher, a guy by the name of Jimmy Glenn Sr. And at the same time, as I started taking lessons from him, I saw Iron Maiden on the Peace of Mind tour. And that show set me on my path. I was like, I want to do my version of that kind of thing. Yeah, Maiden, the Kings. So I got into metal then, and took drum lessons from him for about 4.5 years, and he encouraged me to play in school band. So I did that my last 4 years of high school, and that was a really good experience. Then I started playing in my own metal band from about the age of 15. And, of course, we were very Iron Maiden influenced, and, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, all the bands like that. So I've pretty much been doing that kind of thing since then. So I guess that's sort of my story.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But I guess how'd you form ICE, or I guess when did you join Ice Earth actually? And I know you said you're kind of I guess when were you? You said you were in and out of it a little bit here too. So I guess what was that?
Yeah,
like?
I was in and out a few times. We'll just say I had some personal difficulties, which was part of the reason, not the whole reason by far, but that was definitely part of it for sure. I got with them in 96. That was a weird kind of thing. There's a buddy of mine by the name of Steve Woodham. He's an Alabaman. He lives in Alabama, and he's just one of those kind of guys that knows like a lot of musicians. Like different times when I've been looking for like record deals or something, I've called him up. Hey, do you know anybody I can talk to? And I hope I don't get him in trouble here, but one time he actually gave me John Petrucci, the guitar player from Dream Theater. He gave me his home phone number. He's like, man, don't tell him I gave it to you and whatnot.
I need to get that from you.
What's that? Yeah, there you go. I wish I still had it. But I was like, yeah, whatever. It's not going to be his number. I called it, and damn if it wasn't that guy's number. Got his answering machine. I left a long message, and, of course, I never heard back. But Steve Woodham, to get to the point, he had talked to John Schaefer from Iced Earth just one time. The only time he ever talked to him, he's like, hey, I like you guys. Is there anything I can do to help your band? And at the time, they had a guy named Rodney Beasley playing drums, and he was leaving. And John's like, yeah, we need a drummer, man. Do you know anybody? And Iced Earth was based out of Tampa at that point. And so Steve's like, well, I know Brent. He's down in Jacksonville. That's not too far. And so he gave John my number. And the thing that makes the story kind of peculiar is that a few weeks before then, I'd seen an ad for the first Nevermore album. It was in a metal magazine, and you could send in like a postcard to Century Media, and they would send you a sampler CD. It had like one song from about 20 bands on it. So I sent in the thing, and I got the sampler CD, and it had an Iced Earth song called Last December. It's got a pretty cool intro. It's acoustic guitar. It's got like hi-hat, tambourine, and whatnot. And I liked it so much. I'm kind of dating myself. I liked it so much I put it on my answering machine, like behind me going, hey, I'm not here, leave a message. So when Schaefer called me to ask me about trying out for Iced Earth, he heard his song on my answering machine. I never talked to him. I didn't know him, but I remember that message. He was freaking out about it. He's like, oh, dude, I know that song, man. Left me a message, and I went down to audition. I was, I think, next to last out of like 12 different drummers. They had me learn that song Last December, and then the ginormous song Dante's Inferno. Went down and did those, and he called me a few days later and said, the gig's yours if you want it. So that's pretty much it.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, so, yeah, as they say.
As they say, yeah. So, all right, that's pretty cool. So, just real quick, have you been a drum teacher for the last few years, or did this kind of start during COVID?
Since 1985, man. I
Okay.
started teaching other kids in the drum line in like 10th grade. I've done it pretty much since then. There's been a few years that I didn't when I was touring too heavy. I just didn't have time to teach. But yeah, I've been doing it forever, man. I love it
I guess-
though. It's nice. Huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what motivated you to actually take up being a drum teacher?
Well, first off, it was the guys in the drum line that just weren't quite up to snuff. They needed a little extra attention. So I started doing that. And then, I grew to kind of like it. It's inspiring for me to see someone. I have a lot of students that come in and they've never played at all. It's like their first day ever playing drums. So that's kind of neat to have them from day one. You show them how to hold the sticks and how to use their wrists and their fingers, trying to make sure they don't develop bad habits. And then the other side of the spectrum is you'll have students that come in that have been playing for, 10 years, 20 years or something. You see where they're at, maybe the bad habits they've got, or, what they need to work on, what they want to focus on and whatnot. I teach a lot of fundamentals. Of course, I teach, rock and metal and some other styles too, like jazz and funk. But one of the things I try and key on is getting them playing songs as early as possible. I don't spend like a year on a practice pad. I'll get them playing a song that first lesson if they're capable. Now, it might be something like Seven Nation Army, something real simple, but it's a song. So, and then we'll just do whatever, study other drummers. But no, I like it. It's the best thing to do in the meantime while you're waiting to make your living performing.
That's for sure. Actually, should we start cueing the whole bum 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 bum?
Yeah. If I hear that song one more time, I wake up in a cold sweat hearing that song, man.
Yeah. Actually, a few friends of mine back in the day, we actually did a whole big drummers collab together for that song. So, so it was pretty badass to say the least. So.
Were you part of the big one? There was like 1,000 drummers or something. Was that you? You're part of that, or is that a different one?
No, unfortunately, not that one. So, smaller group. I think it was 15 of us, I think. So,
okay.
Still fairly sized, but not the
Still
1,000
enough to
one.
make a bracket.
That's for sure. So, all right. So, I guess, Bill, who would you say really influenced your play style in terms of for this project, Out of Darkness?
For this project?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Who am I listening to a lot? I would say I've got my batch of early guitar players are big influences, and modern guitar players. Modern, I'd say Jeff Loomis is huge. John Petrucci. Those are some contemporary guys I listen to that I really like. There's guys I listen to that what's his name? Matteo Mancuso. I mean, I listen to that, and I wouldn't even know where to begin to try to play like that, but I can listen to it and appreciate it. So I wouldn't say he's an influence, but I enjoy it. But yeah, my early influences were Randy Rhoads, George Lynch, Jakey Lee, but the big one for me was Paul Gilbert, especially because he grew up in Greensburg, which was right down the road from me. So it was like, wow, you actually can make it from here. Of course, you have to go to LA to do it, but yeah, Paul was a huge influence, and I've still not come anywhere close to him. So,
You know what always?
I don't know about that, Bill. Don't sell yourself short, brother.
well, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, it's not. I would say you were doing the finger tapping solo, and I think what's a little unfair is that they'll credit Eddie Van Halen for doing more of the finger tapping, probably because it was mostly what he was doing in his solos. But you saw like Ace Frehley, for instance, he was also doing that sort of finger tapping as well. Mm-hmm. So I feel kind of unfair.
And I think some really older guys was it Django Reinhardt was doing some of it, or I think there was some Italian guy back in the 50s, which wouldn't have been Django, but yeah, Eddie wasn't the first to do it. I think he was just the first to really popularize it.
I mean, hey, after you listen to Eruption, you kind of think like, what is this?
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Right. So, Eric?
Well, I guess for this project, I mean, I wouldn't say just specifically to this project, but my personal influences overall would be, my favorite guitar player. It's probably Marty Friedman, Guthrie Govan as well. I love him. I like projects like Porcupine Tree, Steven Wilson type of music, progressive metal, Queensryche. I've loved Queensryche since like high school. And obviously Nevermore was a big influence too. I love Nevermore. And I was really into Yngwie Malmsteen. When I got into guitar playing, one of the first few things that I got into, a friend of mine, he showed me Hangar 18 from Megadeth, and he showed me Rising Force from Malmsteen, and that was like a launching pad for me. I got obsessed, you know. I was like, I gotta play this, you know. So I started learning like Far Beyond the Sun and that kind of stuff, you know. So in terms of guitar playing, those are definitely big influences for me. But in terms of singing, you know, I like all kinds of singers. I like pop music, a lot of pop music. I like. Have you heard of Dirty Loops? They're kind of newer on the scene. They're like a pop jazz band. That guy's got the craziest vocals on earth. I think, you know, he's a killer singer. But I also like guys like Russell Allen. You know, obviously Dio too. You know, I love that. James Hetfield was a big influence too, vocally speaking. You know, he always had just such a powerful, gritty delivery. You know, he just knew how to make your spine tingle with a word. You know. Then when I was a kid, I guess I was really into a lot of classical music. You know, Mozart. I was really big on Mozart and Beethoven as well. Those are my two favorites. Later on, I guess I got somewhat into Bach a little bit because of college requirements. You know, they tell you, oh, you've got to learn your voice leading. Listen to Bach. You know, and Bach is cool. I dig Bach too, but Beethoven and Mozart were my number ones. And then over my life, I've been nonstop listening to pop music too. So I do listen to Lady Gaga. Yeah, I'm into that. Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. I dig it all, man. Christina Aguilera. Yeah, give me some of that. I'll listen to it all day. So those are my influences.
Yeah, could I amend mine? I just wanted to give props. So musically, I told you who my favorite guitar players were. My favorite guitar players performance-wise, as far as stage presence, one, Steve Vai. The movie Crossroads, the guitar duel changed my life. I just about broke my VHS tape rewinding that. But a Pittsburgh guy, I don't think Brent or Eric will know him, but David Granati in G-Force. I don't know if you know him, Brian.
That doesn't really ring a bell. Was
No,
G-Force like a one-hit wonder sort of deal?
No, they actually went out on one of they're a Pittsburgh band. David Granati, Pittsburgh guitar player, and the brothers. I think he had two brothers that were in the band with him. They actually went out on tour as the opening band for Van Halen on one of their early tours. But David is amazing. I think he's a black belt in karate or something, and he has this rack with a dummy in it. And one of the first guitar competitions I was ever in, I was very young, David's in it, and he's just ripping off these things and doing spinning back kicks into this dummy's head while he's playing guitar. And it was the most intimidating thing I'd ever seen. I'm like, this guy's unbelievable. I was afraid to get on stage, you know, but he has that kind of, I call it the intimidation factor, and Steve Vai, where I should say Jack Butler, right? You don't even want to get on stage with them. But yeah, props to David Granati if he would ever see this. He was a huge influence on me.
I would say I was kind of limited to a lot of your traditional classic rock groups that you would hear on the radio. And then there was, I forget what station, I always keep forgetting the station that it was on, but in Pittsburgh, it was sort of like a mandatory Metallica. They would play Metallica from like 5 to 6, straight Metallica the whole way through. Yeah. And I just remember hearing No Remorse come on. And I was like, damn, this guy knows how to fucking shred. That whole deal. Not like that because I was young and stupid, but you get the idea. So that's pretty cool. Actually, I didn't know about G-Force. I don't even know my dad actually knows, and he's got a whole CD collection like tucked over there because he used to have a bigger shelf over there, but now it's his little baseball shrine that he put together.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I guess, Brett, to kind of change the question up a little bit too, I guess, who really influenced your play style throughout your career?
I would say in the beginning, it was definitely Bill Ward and also Mitch Mitchell, the guy from the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Those two cats in the beginning for sure. And then from there, it grew to guys like Scott Rockenfield. Nico McBrain was definitely a game changer. Gene Hoglan, for sure. And then my all-time favorite is Dean Castronova, which now he plays for Journey, so he's getting paid, you know, which is great. But in the 80s, he did a bunch of shrapnel records. Like he's on Dragon's Kiss by Marty Friedman. He's on half of Maximum Security by Tony McAlpine. I mean, the stuff that guy did, just amazing. He's hands down my favorite. And there's some other guys that definitely deserve mention as well. Like Vinny Appice was actually a huge influence, man. Trying to think of what other guys. Those are definitely the main guys. But probably the Trinity would be Bill Ward, Mitch Mitchell, Nicka McBrain, for sure.
You know what? I was so blessed to actually see Nicka McBrain actually play the drums when Iron Maiden came from my neck of the woods, Pittsburgh. They play at the we call it the paint can. It's PPG paints, but we call it the paint can just for fucking around sakes, to be honest. But
Right.
but then it was like I forget how many weeks later, but then it was like he just officially retired because he just couldn't do it anymore because his age, and I guess he had a bad stroke at one point. So, but I was like, I could see Nicka McBrain. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw him on the three successive tours. I saw Peace of Mind, Power Slave, Somewhere in Time. I mean, to be Nicka McBrain, he was such an innovator. Even everything about the dude, you know, he's a very unique personality. He's got a very unique drum setup. His style is very unique. He's got so many drums. You know, he has 8 tom-toms and a floor tom. He's got all them cymbals. And like his drum fills, if you listen to the Maiden tunes, no fill is exactly the same. If the section repeats, it might be the same rhythm, but he places it differently on the, you know, lower toms or something. And the way he played kind of melodically with like his ride cymbal bell, following those Maiden melodies, you know, it was just something I had never heard anybody do. So yeah, he was a huge influence, man.
That's for sure. And I mentioned Bill Ward, so I think July 5th.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last Black Sabbath that we're going to see. Ozzy goes out with a bang. You guys going to try to watch it?
I probably won't. Huh?
I think about to.
What'd you say?
I think about to say something, but I think he was going to interrupt you. But I guess Brady, you're going to try to. I guess Brady, you're going to watch it.
He's supposedly the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've already seen stuff about how Ozzy. That's not the end for Ozzy. Actually, just a few hours ago, I had a break between students. Something about that's the end with Sabbath, but he's going to go on and record with other. Ozzy will go on and record with other musicians or whatever. You know, I won't watch it live, but I'm sure it'll be everywhere after.
Let's be honest, he could be on his deathbed and Sharon will have a microphone in front of him. So.
His last words, Sharon!
Yeah.
He did. So, good old Ozzy. Still immortal even to this day. So, God bless him.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. But all great choices right there in terms of influences. So, all right. To get into the hard topic of COVID right here, too. Bill, I guess, how bad was COVID for you personally, family-wise, and I don't know what you were doing music-wise, so how was it music-wise?
I was playing in a couple bands. I remember I had a cover band down here in Jacksonville. We did, hard rock stuff. But I was also in Alice in Chains tribute band with a guy, the singer was from Pittsburgh. And he would come down once a year. We would do this Alice in Chains thing, and we were pretty good at it. But he came down, and he was down here for about a week because we rehearsed, and then we had a gig. And the rehearsal, and then this, flu-like thing was blowing up in the country. And then it started getting real serious over the matter of a couple of days. It was March of 2020. And while he was here, they started canceling flights. His first flight home got canceled because they started to shut everything down. So we actually played the last weekend that everything was open in March of 2020. We played. And then after that, it's like the whole world just shut down. And it's like he obviously managed to get home. He had to jump flights. But yeah, it was a weird time because the first few weeks, you didn't know. It was like, a couple weeks to flatten the curve. And you thought, okay, this is temporary. We'll get over it. And then when that didn't happen, you really started to wonder, you're 3 months into it. You're like, is this just how life is going to be now? you never knew when it was going to end. But yeah, I had a really nice PA system. I ended up selling off all my PA because it was just sitting, taking up space. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to use this again. So I sold it and just practiced at home. No bands were playing. I had short hair when COVID started. It's actually what started to grow my hair again. Yeah, that's what happened to me.
You started living the life of a hermit in that case. So
pretty much, yeah.
I guess so. And I guess, Eric, were you okay? We were seeing you were kind of having a little fight with your mascot cat right there.
Oh my God, he was trying to bite my fingers. Trying to bite my nubs off. It's a naughty kitty.
Apparently. So, all right. But I guess, how bad was COVID for you, Eric? And I guess in terms of family-wise and music-wise, how bad was it?
Well, my family made it through mostly fine, to be honest. But I had moved to Orlando to do this band, and then like months later, COVID happened. I mean, it was kind of devastating, really. We thought everything was going to be kind of really quick. There was like a whole game plan for how things were going to go, and it didn't go according to plan because COVID just disrupted absolutely everything. So they pushed back our recording by a few months, and I think it kind of made some other hurdles in a way. It made performing harder. Made getting around more difficult. It made even kind of just surviving the general climate pretty tough. Starting a band, leaving to a new town, going far away, meeting new people, doing something totally new, and then to have something like that happen. It was a tough time, but we did survive it. We made it right through, and here we are on the other side. A couple records in, we're about to start that third record. So I'm really proud of what we've done, despite all the setbacks that COVID put us through.
That's for sure. And Brent?
Wasn't it, Eric? Didn't we do the drum tracks? We recorded the drum tracks the weekend before COVID hit. Was that what happened?
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
So we got the drum tracks done, and we're just getting it rolling. It's like, all right, here we go. And then drum tracks, and then it's like, okay, well, whenever they say we can go back out and whatever, do it. But like Eric said, it slowed it down, stretched it out, made other obstacles appear. But then when we went to play live, we played, I think we did the first 10 shows in Florida, because Florida was like the only place that was like not quite so shut down, or it started opening again or whatever. But it was kind of cool in a way, because we saturated Florida, our home state. We just kind of worked with what we had. But yeah, I mean, overall, the whole COVID thing, it sucked. And the more that more time goes by, the more information that's coming out about it. I saw something, as a matter of fact, just last night about it. I mean, not to get too deep down the rabbit hole, but just the way the whole thing, in my opinion, it was engineered, manufactured, and purposely unleashed upon the world by the crooked, like the Fauci guy and whatever, all that crap. It was a calculated move to decimate some population, exert control, isolate, divide, you name it. It's like some sci-fi stuff, but it really happened,
So it was like the Thanos snapping away that ordeal. So
yeah, right. Terrible, man. But a lot of people are wise to it now. You know what I mean? So that something like that, they'll have a whole lot harder time pulling that kind of crap again. You know what I mean? And I never got any of the shots or anything. And you see what's happened to a lot of the people that got them. Like, my mom, she got the first one and she got a booster shot. She's had, she's a bit elderly. She just turned 83, but she's had a lot of health problems since then. And I'm always wondering what might the shot have aggravated? You know what I mean? So I really don't know.
I know when we walked into a grocery store and you saw arrows on the floor of which way to walk, that's when I started to question. I'm like, this is bullshit. They don't know what they're doing when they're recommending stuff to us.
Hey, it could have made like a little game, like a Pac-Man sort of style right there too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, like the whole restaurant thing, use that for an example. Okay, you got to wear your mask when you come in, but then when you sit down at your table, you can take your mask off. You got to be 6 feet away, not 5.5, but 6 feet. So you can't go that far. And then over time, they've determined that the mask didn't do any good. The mask. It didn't do any good. It didn't stop it from happening. And what's the deal with you get a vaccine? Well, you got the vaccine, but you're still going to get it. You're still contagious, but try the next one. Oh, well, that one didn't work either. Well, try the next one.
Yeah, actually, maybe Eric, if you want to elaborate, that's a good segue into one of the songs that you wrote for the EP.
Oh, well, I did write a song about this. There's a song called "Oh My" that's about the devastation and the sudden change that COVID caused, and it's kind of a song about living in the moment. Just kind of like Seize the Day. It's the same sort of a theme, but this was themed around the disaster that was COVID, of course, specifically, and it's about not letting that setback stop you from living your life. I remember I was in San Francisco, and they made me. I was at a hotel in San Francisco, and they made me dine my breakfast out in the cold because they said, "Oh, you don't have your vaccine card. How dare you?" I remember the lady looked at me like I was some sort of vermin. It was crazy, and so that kind of influenced this track, and yeah.
I say she gave you the death stare in a way. So
she did. She was like offended by my presence. Like, how dare you come to San Francisco without a vaccination card? It was unbelievable.
I really think I've rocked a smart life. Yeah. So,
she had no problem making me dine outside in the cold. Everybody else was dining inside. She said, "Oh no, not you. Out there." And it was like a Hilton hotel. Oh no, it was a Marriott. That's right. It was a Marriott. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they discriminated me like that. It was nuts.
I think that one point is that, we're a band that, of course, like any human, we have opinions on things, whether it's religion or politics, but we don't force our opinions on anybody. We may talk about a situation, but we don't, whether we agree or disagree with what other people think, we don't push it on you. And we don't like, oh, you don't believe what we believe, you're stupid. That's not a healthy thing to do. So we try to be very careful about that.
Bring out the whip.
No. I just, the phrase "you do you, I'll do me." It's kind of
no harm, no foul. I say no harm, no foul. That's how I like to go.
Yeah.
So, right. But just to delve into more lyrics in just a second. But first off, good to see you boys are doing well. So I know it's got a different opinion, but I mean, hey, I got the vaccine, but it was weird after the second time. I will tell you that much. But I'm okay.
Well, and because I did make some trips back to Pittsburgh, and the whole Northeast definitely, I think, was the pressure from the government and from the top was definitely more in that area of the country. And of course, San Francisco, it's a little more free down here in Florida. So.
We should say the equivalent of the California hippies back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
I guess. But regardless, good to see you boys are doing well there too. And
thank you.
Good luck to your mother right there, Brent. So.
Oh, thank you. All
right. So, but I guess, Eric, are you the primary songwriter for all the songs you released just on Seize the Day?
Well, on Seize the Day, I guess for that first record, by happenstance, I wrote most of those tracks. There was another guy called Chuck Shea that we collaborated with for a couple of songs. But on this re-recording, we didn't include those two tracks, because of what we spoke about earlier about reclaiming the music and all of that. So Chuck Shea is a really talented guy. He's a really talented musician and songwriter. And we did write some really powerful tracks with him, but that stuff's not included on this new re-recording. But on the second record, I'd say it was a little bit more collaborative, really. I think we all had a good amount of input on the second record. And I think our third record will be even more so collaborative.
I guess what themes do you like to delve into? Are you primarily like, trying to tell a story, or is it based on kind of like real life experience you probably went through? Eric, or
it's usually, there's a lot of it that's based off of real life experiences for sure. A lot of it is analytical, self-reflective at times, analytical on life, the perspectives of who we are, where we come from, what are we doing. There's a whole lot of that all over these lyrics. It's really hard to nail down and say this is what our lyrics are about. It's about so many different things, and it's broad. It's hard to say, we mostly write about this or that, or we mostly write in this manner. Every song is its own creation, and I think each track has its own theme and its own idea. So.
Yeah, lyrically, I would say Eric writes, probably 80 to 90% of it. But generally, as a theme, Brent writes a little bit. I do musically a little bit lyrically, but we generally just try to focus on a positive message. Even the name of the band, Out of Darkness. We're not preachy at all, but we like to come across as with a positive effect. So, we may sing about something that's dark, but we try to find the positive side of it. If that makes any sense. So
I was saying, if you were trying to get preachy, people might think they probably walked into a sermon then. So
yeah, we definitely don't want to do that. I love Striper, but we don't want to be that.
Right.
Not that sort of deal.
I look at it like we come from a place of like light and love is where we kind of where our like our messaging and the point of the songs is more about light and love and good, happy things, whereas a lot of metal is from a place of, say, hate and a place of darkness. And now there is some of that in our music, but like Bill said, it's more positive, uplifting, like thought-provoking lyrics that'll make you think, for sure.
That's pretty cool. And actually, the reason I brought up sermon was I know Bill said he was formerly from the Lower Borough area, as well as New Kensington. Did you actually see that new venue they put in called Preserving Underground, Bill?
In Burl, in New Ken?
In New Kensington, yeah.
No, I'll be there next week, but no, I've not.
I said, check it out. It's a killer venue, but it used to be a church at one point there too. So
okay.
you still like the mosaic glass. It still has like some of still the religious painting here. And then meanwhile, we have Nile going in there singing their song Kafir, which is basically another word for infidel.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Jeez. Well, speaking of churches in Pittsburgh, though, the only time I ever saw Iced Earth play, and I don't know if you were at the show, Brian, it was before I moved to Florida. It was at a place called the Altar Bar in Pittsburgh. I don't think they still have bands anymore, but it was down in Millville. I think it was near Millville, somewhere near there. Or am I thinking of Mr. Small's Funhouse?
I think it was Mr. Small's. I know that one. I was there, yeah.
Okay. Well, I know for sure the bar was Altar Bar because it used to be a church, but I saw Iced Earth there maybe a year before I moved to Florida, and it was weird. I'm like, man, that drummer is badass. And, I dug the band, and then who would think that a few years later I'd be in a band with that guy? It's just crazy how life works sometimes.
We came full circle.
Didn't we play some freaky church in Pennsylvania somewhere one time? Was it?
You mean the place that we think was a satanic church that we found out about?
I remember that place.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Eastern. That was out east. Yeah, we don't do that around Pittsburgh. No, I forget the name of it. We probably shouldn't say the name of it. But boy, we played this. It wasn't a church, but it was like a church, the way they presented it. And it's just walking into the place, there was a really dark, cold feeling, and there was artwork on the walls that was very dark and satanic. And was it you or somebody found out that the owner of the place was a Satanist? Is that what we found out?
I think so.
Something like that. Yeah,
it was dark. I remember we left that night and we could not get the hell out of there quickly enough. It was like we would never come back here, man.
There was like a black cat that came down from like the staircase that was above the green. The green room was like on the second floor, and then there was like a hallway and a stairwell, and some black cat came out of that stairwell from this dark room, and it was the freakiest thing. It spooked the shit out of us because we were already kind of spooked out anyways. But once that cat popped out of nowhere, we said, "Oh my god!"
Was this actually a live concert, or was this just something promotion-wise?
Played a gig there, man. Yeah.
Now I remember the name of the place. I'm not going to say it. I mean, that's how much this place got in my head. I don't even want to talk about it or say the name. But this place was for real, man. There's some really bad mojo going on at that place.
Yeah, it was freaky.
We should say it's like an Edgar Allan Poe sort of scenario going on right there too.
There are weird passages. There's obscure rooms that you can't go to. They said, "Don't go into that stairwell. Don't go into that room over there." And we did it, but we peeked. And it was weird.
Just
Eric.
Some of the artwork that was painted on the walls would just give you chills. I mean, it was dark stuff.
Oh yeah.
Last time. That's what we kept telling ourselves. Hey, you get some interesting stories out of these things. So
yeah.
I mean, I interviewed a Satanist. He was up in New York actually, a chill guy. But I don't know if he would technically dig this sort of church though. I don't know, but it'd be interesting.
Maybe you'd fit right in. I don't know.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing there too. So. All right, let's jump into the fun topic here of gear. So, I guess, Bill, what you got?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Gear. What do you got?
Gear. Oh, guitars. So I'm endorsed by Solar Guitars, Ola England, over in. Where's he from? Sweden? He's a Swedish guy, right? Yeah, I think so. Eric would know. So I play Solar guitars, my Jackson guitars. I've always, when I do 6-string stuff, I have my Robin guitars. They're handmade from Houston, Texas. I have 2 of those. They're fantastic. I'm playing through, actually sitting right next to me, the Fractal Audio XFX3, Fryette power amps. But for the album, very little was an actual, there's no actual amp. There's a little bit of the Fractal that I recorded live on a couple of the solos. But we used, like most everybody's, we used DI tracks, and then we used plugins for the guitar sounds. So most of that were Neuro DSP plugins, the Fortin one, and the Soldano. Those plugins were used a lot on the album, a mix of them.
Okay. I guess, do you guys do your own sort of production, or I guess who helps out in terms of producing the albums you've done?
We did for this one, yes. For the EP, we did that all in-house ourselves.
Did someone help you with the past works, or was those also DIYs?
Yeah, I'll let these guys talk about that because it was before my time.
Well, the first 2
past
records.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. The very first one, we had started recording in a place called Studio Live USA in Orlando with a guy called Dave Michael producing it. And then for mixing, we took those recordings over to Martel AVP in Kingsland, Georgia. We took it to a guy called Stan Martel. He's very talented. He got some killer mixes. Then the second record, I think some of that was produced by Bill, and other parts were produced by Stan. And then this re-recording, the entire thing was produced and mixed by and mastered by Bill. Good job, Bill.
Yep, Bill is definitely the MVP of the new recording for sure.
No doubt about it. He somehow tolerated. Yeah. Bill somehow tolerates it. I don't know how many vocal takes I put Bill through. And these
guys are trying to get in my pants. Listen to them, jeez.
All right.
Imagine having me next to your ear, right behind you, just screeching all day. You know, that was what Bill dealt with, and he did great.
Yep.
He doesn't say he was traumatized afterwards. So he's probably like, never again. So
Well,
I mean, I probably get fed up at some point there too. So I mean, like, maybe not so much the point of fist flying, but I mean, like, it'd just be so annoying afterwards.
no, I mean, there's good and bad doing it yourselves. You know, you can record whenever you want. Doesn't cost you anything. But man, I used to, when I lived in Lower Borough, I had a recording studio in my house. That was my secondary income for years. I had a lot of bands in there, and I forgot how time consuming it is. And so that's the disadvantage. I mean, you spend hours and hours, especially when you're not paying. You know, I'll sit here and, you know, spend 2 hours on trying to get better tom sounds. You know, well, also because I hadn't done it in years. So yeah, it's good and bad. I'm very proud of it, though. We'll find out Friday what the world thinks.
Yeah, I would say the end result, you know, it really translated all the time and effort that Bill put into it. You know, with the recording, we're all involved with our own part, you know, of course. Like I was there for the drum tracks, but Bill was there for pretty much every single note. And then he was there for 10 times that amount of time, mixing it, mastering it. You know, he would give us the latest mixes. We would give him notes and critiques. He would go back and make, you know, revisions, corrections, whatever. But he spent a lot of time on it, and it translated into something that we're all very proud of. With what we did with this, you know, we're taking some old songs and revising them. So that was one neat and exciting factor of it, was to be able to redo some songs, you know, because after playing them for a few years, you know, they get revised a bit. So it was neat to be able to put the revised versions down on tape. And then when we did the first version, Bill wasn't in the band. So, of course, it was a great opportunity and bonus to have him on the recording. So those were neat factors. But, yeah, a lot of time. A lot of time was put into it on his end.
It's a lot of work making a record, and most of that work, besides, you know, what all the musicians do, which Bill also did musician portions of it too, but most of the work falls on the shoulder of whoever is producing, editing, mixing, and mastering. And Bill championed all of that on top of actually performing as well on the record. So, you know, kudos once more.
Okay. Garbage in, garbage out. These guys brought it on their parts. So they made my job easier.
Thank God for that. So,
Yeah.
actually, it's almost like a yin yang sort of effect here too. So, yeah, you also save money not doing it yourself. That's right there. But then, unfortunately, number one, your space is confined. You have to do maybe one track at a time. So you do like Brent's maybe one day with God knows how many mics stationed up, that sort of deal. So there's always pluses and minuses. There's nothing that's like, oh, right, this is easy. We could just glide on the fly. Gliding overall, if we want to say an Ernest Hemingway sort of quote right there. So I don't know. But I digress. So I guess go back to the gear. I guess, Erica, what sort of mics do you use? And I guess what's your brand of guitars?
Right. So I use a Sennheiser wireless headset microphone. I use Kiesel guitars, 2 8-string guitars. Occasionally, depending on what songs we're playing, I'll whip out an Ibanez, 6 or 7-string. And then I play on a Fractal FM9, so I don't even bring an amplifier anymore. I mean, I have a rack full of like old school analog stuff, with the Mesa amp, Mesa Roadster, and all this cab simulator and noise gates and all this crazy stuff. I don't use any of that anymore. It's just sitting there collecting dust because the name of the game is digital now. With Fractal, they've just changed everything. It's so easy to just bring your little pedal, plug it in, and you're good to go. So that's what I bring. I bring my headset mic. I bring my little Fractal FM9. I got my in-ear monitor set up, with our mixer and everything. So everything's wireless, real easy. Just roll up, plug it in, you're good to go. And that's my setup.
I do got a question about AI, but we'll get to that in just a second. So I guess, Brent, what do you got?
My gear, I've got 3 endorsements. I have a DW drums endorsement, Sabian cymbals, and Vic Firth drumsticks. So my drum set is a PDP, which is made by DW. It's a 7-ply maple drum set. And then I have a host of Sabian cymbals. Most of them are AA. A couple of them are AAX. And then right now I'm using a Tama Iron Cobra double bass pedal, which Bill got for me. What else as far as gear? I use Remo drum heads, and if I can't get those, then I'll use Evans as a backup. I guess that's pretty much it for my gear.
Have you ever rolled with electronic drum sets, let alone use them in your teaching classes?
I have taught on them before. They're okay, but I compare it to like if you're learning piano. If you learn piano on a keyboard, you're not going to develop the proper touch. You know, it's not the same playing on a regular piano as playing on a keyboard. Now, some keyboards are touch sensitive. If you play harder, it's louder. But it's just not the same unless you get one of the real high-end ones. Then those I think are more similar to a piano. But for like noise reasons or space reasons, I've used electronics before, but I really don't like to do that unless that's the only option. Where I teach at now, we have 2 acoustic drum sets, but they're muffled to hell. I mean, they're all kind of muffled. They've got, each drum is packed full of like sheets and shirts and whatever, so that it feels like a real drum set, but it doesn't sound like one. So, I mean, that's kind of the best option. If you can teach wide open, like no muffling or anything, that's great. But at the same time, for me, if I'm given 30 lessons a week, that's going to be really bad for these over time. So it's kind of, taking the best that you can from each situation. So electronics are okay. Like a lot of students that come in, they're going to get their first drum set. Their parents are like, well, what do you think about electronics? Blah, blah, blah. That's what I tell them. I was like, no, you need to get an acoustic kit. And if you're worried about the noise, because that's a lot of the concern, they're like, we just don't want to hear it. You can just put headphones on or whatever. It's like, well, just get an acoustic kit and get muffle pads for it. Which the muffle pads, it's basically like mouse pad type material. It just lays on the drums. So if you want to muffle them, leave them on. If you want to play them wide open, it takes less than 5 minutes to take them off. So
a simple solution for simple people. So
yeah. Right.
Yeah. So all right. Actually, I have been rolling with electronic drum set. I recently upgraded to I roll with Roland. So it's a Roland VAD 706. So at least gives the impression of an actual drum set, but still electronic. So
is that got the mesh heads, or are they like the black plastic heads?
I'm gonna say mesh. They're not the black plastic heads. So
yeah, those are a little bit nicer. Some of those electronics, I'm not real familiar with them. I don't know if that's like a high-end one or not that you've got. Would you say it's a high-end one or like in the lower line?
For me, just being simple, I mean, I would call it high end. I mean, it was $6 grand to be honest. So
okay, yeah, that's a high end one.
Yeah,
some of those are amazing. They're amazing. They got amazing sounds on them, man.
It was a Christmas present to myself, if I like to say so. So
yeah, you got to treat yourself.
Absolutely. All right. So Eric earlier brought up about the whole thing with, I guess we could sort of say AI, and the whole thing with maybe something along the lines of AI here too. So I guess Bill, we'll start with you. I guess, what do you make of AI and social media these days?
AI in social media?
Yes.
I really don't use it for that. I know Eric does. A lot of, just to be honest, if you go to the band page, a lot of the wording for our posts, it has been, we call it grokked. I guess that's one of the AI tools, Grok. Eric knows it well. With what I do in my career, my day job, some of the software developers that I work with, we use AI extensively, and it helps write code and comment code and format and scaffold code. So I know it from that aspect. And we've all messed with AI as far as artwork. So the last album, the self-titled "The Out of Darkness" album, the cover is AI. That was it? I forget which one it's called. The big one that does art, or it was a couple of years ago. I'm forgetting the name of it now. Midjourney. I'm sorry, Midjourney. So the cover was Midjourney, and we did artwork for each song, and I thought it turned out really well. And then we did a redesign of our logo for this album, and we used AI a lot for that. Not completely, but for parts of it. Yeah, but Eric takes AI way further than I do.
Yes, Eric.
I guess I've been using AI here and there to kind of set up my whatever I write. I'll draft whatever it is I'm intending to put out there, and I'll run it through AI just to tighten it up. I'll say, this is what I'm trying to aim for with it, and I'll have it edit it, and then I'll always edit whatever AI spits out back at me. So I always start with the human version, my human version of whatever it is. I'll feed it to AI, and then I'll edit that to my liking, and then I'll usually use that. And that's just in terms of like wording, like a post, for example, wording a Facebook post, or sometimes I'll get ideas from AI if I don't know, hey, what could I post today to promote our upcoming album, and AI will give me some really great ideas, So that's how I use AI, currently. I mean, I'm sure over time it's going to take over everything.
Eric, tell him what you did. If maybe a few weeks ago, you had AI give us a whole business plan for the band or something. What was it that you did? That was amazing.
Right. Yeah, I had AI take a look at our website and our EPK and kind of make an analysis of what we're doing, of what we've done and what we're doing and where we're trying to go. I made it come up with a whole game plan for what we could do to amp things up and target everything properly, and it gave us some incredible insights. I mean, this stuff is amazing. You tell it to look at this and tell you what it thinks, and it will give you so much information. It's shocking. It's so insightful at times. I think AI is an incredible and powerful tool. Although I do see the future of this, I know where it's going. It's going to ruin absolutely everything. But at the moment, in this intermediary step, it is incredibly helpful for now, until we get terminated.
Or until we hit the singularity, right, Eric?
The Skynet conspiracy. Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Oh, God.
By the fourth or fifth album, we'll have AI Eric singing. So it'll be a cybernetic organism with a robotic beard.
The T-1000.
Actually, I thought that was like Static X right there too. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
they got something like that going on right now.
That's actually kind of freaky. But I know I try to honor his memory there too. But at the same time, it's like, do we really need a robot out there with the big freaky hairdo and all that stuff? So I don't know. So I kind of give up on humanity at this point. So all right.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, but I guess Brent, I don't know if you use any AI for anything.
Not really. No, I'm the least computer savvy of the three of us, and that's a big understatement. No, I believe that it's here. It's obviously here to stay, and you might as well use it to your advantage. You know what I mean? I think if it's used to supplement something, then that's one thing. But if it's used to replace something, that's another. But then again, like what Bill was saying about the artwork, now for the second album that we did, if we were to try and do what we did, we had an album cover, and then we had an album cover piece of art for each song. If we were to try and do that and pay a decent artist to do that, that would have ended up costing more than recording the record. So by doing what we did, we were able to get a really good product by using AI, and I think it turned out great. So I've got mixed feelings about it. It scares me because I don't know much about it. And, you hear all the, the dark conspiracies about it and whatnot. And it's like, time will tell. But the one thing that's more scary than anything for me is that it's to the point where you can't tell, for me anyway, you can't tell what's like, say, if you look at something that was written or something that was drawn or a song that was made, it's hard to tell the distinction between, okay, that's done by a human, but that's AI assisted, and that's complete AI generated. That's where it begins to get a little scary. So, but I mean, it's here to stay, so we use it to our advantage.
Yeah, it would be nice, but I have to tread carefully. So let's hope I don't get
Right.
let's not go to the Skynet conspiracy. We don't.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I think, are we going to have to rely on Arnold Schwarzenegger to come back and try to save humanity? So,
Don't put it in charge of the nuclear weapons, please.
for the love of God, don't. So yeah. So fair
I don't know if you guys heard, but there's been a few experiments already where they're finding out a lot of these AI models are already hiding information and storing it in a manner that's not readily accessible to the people that are creating them. It's pretty nuts. It's kind of evidence that maybe they're not necessarily on our side.
Gotcha.
God damn it. So, all right, we'll see what happens. So, I digress. Just real quick, who handles the social media, and what social media are you guys on so I can check you out?
That's definitely mainly Eric.
We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube mostly. Although we do have accounts with TikTok and Twitter, so you can check us out on all of those. Our main ones are definitely Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So do subscribe there. Out of Darkness Official is our handle at Out of Darkness Official. Check out our official website, outofdarknessofficial.com, for pre-sales, merchandise, CDs, and links and videos.
The whole shebang, as they would say. So,
Yeah.
All right. So, I guess it's just real quick. What's your plans for this year outside of releasing some new material? You guys got any shows lined up in around Florida and some other parts of the states?
Right now we have a show coming up at the end of this month at a place called Eclipse in Jacksonville, Florida. We have an event in October, the Metal Apocalyptic Madness event. It's like a festival they're doing in Ingrid, Florida. I've never been to Ingrid, so this should be interesting. It's going to be like a big wrestling and metal event. So I'm excited for that one. I think next year we plan to get around a little more than this year. This year's been mostly a studio year for us, and it looks like it's going to finish off with a lot more studio time too, from our recent discussions.
Yeah. I have to have a surgery at the end of the year, so I'll be on crutches for a little while. So that'll be a great time to work on the next album.
Ah, crutches, but you can still hold your guitar.
That's right.
You just can't do those karate kicks like he was mentioning earlier. So,
That's actually pretty much what caused it.
come on, Bill. Jeez.
No, I partially tore my Achilles doing jiu-jitsu, and it hasn't healed, so I have to get it surgically repaired. So I guess if I was better at it, that wouldn't happen. So
I guess, yeah. So
Part of our plan for what we're doing for the rest of the year too, like Eric was saying, is some more recording. The re-release of the EP, the new thing that's coming out in a couple days. That's the first release for us recently, and then the next recording venture is we're going to revise some parts off the self-titled record, and then we're going to re-release that. And then the plan is to start working on the third album get into the pre-production for that. We may be doing a thing called a Metal Meltdown show in Jacksonville. That would be like in late August, maybe early September or so. We did just release a video for the song Control. That's our latest video release. And then on the 27th of this month, we're going to be shooting video for another song. And we're all very excited about that. That should be a kick-ass video that we're going to do. Think I'm leaving anything out that we're doing?
Let's hope not.
I think you got it all.
Yeah. I was gonna say we were talking about Control earlier, so yeah.
Okay. I must have missed that.
So
right on. Okay. We're brewing up a steaming pot of metal for the masses, basically.
That's right. We're gonna boil it over.
Yes.
Can't wait. All right, sounds good. So, boys, we produced a question. Oh, sorry. All right, sorry. Boys, we have produced the questions here. So here, let's jump into some extra fun ones here. Ready? All right. I'll take your silence as a yes.
All right.
So, yep. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Fun questions.
We're jumping into extra fun questions now. So
okay, right on.
So, all right. So, Bill, what would you say is currently your favorite food?
Oh wow. I like these little bagels, but they're low carb bagels, Sola, and I put like a non-sugar sweetener on it with cinnamon. It's like almost like cinnamon toast, but it's low carb and not that bad for you. I love those. I eat those most mornings. Yeah.
Sounds good. So I guess Eric.
My favorite food right now is probably Colombian steakhouses. I've been going crazy with those Colombian steakhouses here in Orlando.
So is there a particular dish you had to go after? Not sure if you're one of those surf and turf sort of ones.
Well, it's called the bandeja paisa. That's the one you want to try for sure.
That's interesting. I guess what's that mixed with? I never had one.
It's it's rice with red beans. It's served with a steak, pork rinds, sausage, avocado, cheese, and an arepa. It's the bomb. It's a Colombian dish. I'm not Colombian, but you know I love that dish, and that's probably my favorite thing to eat right now.
It makes an exception every now and again. All right. And Brent?
I like broiled scallops, man. I love scallops.
All right. I was going to say, is that something Florida kind of hooked you on at one point? Or I guess, was that?
I don't know if necessarily Florida. I ate them once, man. And every time I go to the seafood place, that's always what I get, man. And some Chinese places actually have it on the menu, like a Chinese takeout. And believe it or not, on the Chinese menu, it's one of the cheapest things you can get. But seafood
because
restaurant,
it's cat.
It could be. Yeah. Well, I can't tell the difference, so no, I love scallops. So.
I was thinking, oh God, not a Chinese alleyway. And I think that's what Bill was referring to there.
Broil it, put some soy sauce on it. You can't tell, right?
R.I.P. the black cat. So, okay, all great choices right there too. So, actually, an interesting one too that Eric brought up. I never heard about that. So, all right, interesting dish. All right, so not sure if you guys are real big movie nerds, let alone TV series, but I guess do you have a favorite movie or TV series you guys would consider your favorites?
My favorite movie of all time is 2001: A Space Odyssey. I love that movie. It's mind blowing. You know, the visuals and the story is just incredible. In terms of like a series, I couldn't say there's any series that I watch right now, or you know, I kind of stopped watching television many years ago, and it's something that I've pushed off to the side. I don't participate. But for movies, yeah, 2001. That's my favorite.
Brent, did you know, or you want me to go?
Yeah, for me, it just took me a second. I don't know why it didn't come right to me. My favorite movie, all time, hands down, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Best movie ever, man. John C. Reilly is a master, man. I know every line of that movie, every word of every line. That's the best movie ever.
He quotes that movie every time we practice. he means that. He's not kidding. I mean, he knows, like, seriously, so many lines out of that movie.
Have you ever seen it, Brian?
It's not ringing a bell. I think it's probably too much of Die Hard. So
you got to see it, dude. You got to see it, man. It's a parody of it's got a lot of different parodies in it. It parodies Brian Wilson in there. It parodies Bob Dylan. It parodies Johnny Cash. I'm not sure who else, but there's a lot of parodies in there, and it's all one dude doing them all. It's like different stages of his career. And there's other parts in it, of course, that are very cool. But it's a great movie, man. It's got really good music in it, too. The lyrics are friggin' comical, but the music's pretty good.
So it sounds like a Monty Python sort of take on old classic rock, or in a way.
Yeah, something like that.
Except with one guy, it's not like that's like a whole set of guys.
I mean, there's one main character, and that's John C. Reilly, but he has a band in it, you know. But yeah, it's great. You got to see it. You can't really quite put it into words.
Walk Hard?
Well, it's called Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Okay. All right. And Bill?
So my favorite serious movies would be all-time favorite, The Shawshank Redemption. Love that movie. Fun fact, a few years ago, I was playing with a band, and we played, it's called the Incarceration Fest in Ohio. There's a big metal festival, and it's actually on the same grounds that the prison they shot the movie in. I forget what it's called, but we got to tour the actual prison and see where they shot some of the scenes. It was really cool. So yeah, I love Shawshank Redemption, Goodfellas. Can't go wrong with Goodfellas. And then fun movies. I confess, Grease. I'm a sucker for Grease. I could sing every lyric to every one of those songs. Not well.
Oh my God, me too.
All right. You could be my Danny. I'll be your Sandy. But TV shows, Friends. I love Friends. Cheers, and on Netflix, the Cobra Kai, that series, that was awesome. If you're an '80s fan, you gotta love that.
I guess that actor still rolled these days. Old Cobra Kai.
Do you watch it? Have you watched it?
You know, I never did, and I think I just see like the main ending scene where he does the karate kick right to the guy's face or something like that. So.
This series was, in my opinion, was actually way better than the movies. Yeah, it was really entertaining. I mean, it was cheesy and campy, but it was just fun, mindless comedy.
You know, it was made in the '80s when it looks cheesy. So
yeah.
At least most of the time, we should say. So actually, mine was more Lord of the Rings. I mean, they drilled.
I love that. Yeah, I do.
I mean, they drilled that into my brain. It was both the originals and the extended edition. So, I mean, it has been drilled into my memory, to say the least.
Yeah, so. I do have the extended editions on Blu-ray. That would be probably top 5, I would say, for me.
Yeah, those are great movies, man.
They actually did a nice little, I don't know if it was through StreamYard here, but it was one of those apps, and all the cast members got together. I guess they were just doing a little chat session, and I don't know if it was like an interview or where it was just like a little get together or whatever, but you just see it. They're just doing these quotes from the movies there too. The guy who played Gimli, and then you also get Orlando Bloom. So it was funny.
It's always better when things are extended.
We see what we did not see in the movies. So yeah, we got an extra hour out of it too.
Right.
They don't do that anymore.
When they made those movies, they shot all 3 of them at once. They did it all together. over the span of about 2 years. And do you know they also gave all the main actors, they gave them all a point on the movies. So they make a royalty residual for life on those. And the only condition I think that they had was that none of the main actors could be in a new movie until a year after the third one was released. But yeah, it's great. I saw the cartoon. You ever seen the cartoon back from way back?
The Ralph Bakshi? Was it the Ralph Bakshi one?
I'm not sure who did it, but it was like originally there was a Hobbit cartoon, then there was a Lord of the Ring cartoon, and then they even had a Return of the King movie, but it wasn't exactly just a cartoon. The Return of the King, there's a name for the technique to where it's animation on top of real filming, and they put them together and they vary the amount of animation, the amount of real footage. So it gives it a really trippy kind of look. But yeah, those were killer. I just think they didn't have the technology to make the movies in the way they did, the latest versions until they did them.
Until the turn of the century. So yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, but still killer movie. So, yeah. For the next one right here, what would you say is your favorite alcoholic drink? And then what's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
For me, my favorite alcoholic drink, when you can get it, because a lot of bars don't make it or can't make it, is a White Russian. That's my favorite for sure, man. Those are good. They got milk in it, man. So, milk does the body good.
He gets his protein out of it, so yeah.
Yeah, it's got some milk in it anyway. I guess my favorite non-alcoholic drink, and I probably shouldn't say this, is just a regular old can of Coke.
Yeah, non-alcoholic for me, unfortunately, would be Diet Pepsi. I drink way too much of that crap, and I know it's not good for you. I just try to stay away from the sugar. I used to love beer. I don't drink as much as I used to, but you make fun of me. I like White Claw. This siltery drinks, or a High Noon or something like that. It's just a lot of us too. It's so hot down here in Florida. If I was to drink a beer, it just I can only drink beer if it's cooler out. Yeah, that's what I like.
My favorite drink is a Grateful Dead. It's kind of like a Long Island tea, but with like a blackberry Chambord. And my favorite non-alcoholic drink is just regular whole milk, plain milk. Whole. Don't give me none of that skim. I don't want no 2%. What's 2% anyways? What is that? No. Give me the whole milk.
I thought that was whole with the 2%. At least I thought it was. So I can't tell the difference. I still did my Oreos in it. So I mean, so actually, Brent, I'd say a while back I actually did do a Black Russian at one point.
Yeah, those are good. They're not as sweet as a White Russian, man.
I think I prefer sweetness. I would say, boy, it was strong. I'll tell you that much.
It's got multiple liquor in it. The White Russian, it's got vodka and Kahlua in it. And then, milk and cream.
I know it's Russian if you got vodka in it.
Of course.
Absolutely. All right. And here's how I word the last question. Do you guys have a favorite song of all time? Otherwise, if that's too tough, who would you consider your top 5 favorite bands of all time?
I would say for me, favorite song of all time, it's a toss-up between the Mercy Me song, I Can Only Imagine. I love that song, but it's between that and Take Hold of the Flame by Queensryche. And the other part of your question was what, top 5 artists? Is that what you said?
If you want to. I mean, it's pretty much like either or, but do you have top 5 favorite bands?
Well, I mean, I'm old school, so I would say Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Pantera, and probably maybe a tie between Queensryche and Yngwie Malmsteen.
No love for Ice Turf? Not your former band? Jeez.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I don't want to plug my, I don't want
Can't
to
say
be
a band that
biased.
you're in.
No, I mean, of
You
course,
can't toot his own horn.
I love Ice Turf. I actually listened to the horror show. It may have been last night. And I'm not on that record, but I can appreciate the songwriting. And that was I think that was the 5th studio album. The Ice Turf stuff, I think as far as quality, songwriting, and just overall, I guess I already did say quality, but to me, it stacks up with any of the bands, really. I would stack it right up there with Maiden or anyone, So.
Fair enough. All right. Eric and Bill?
Go ahead, Eric.
It's that's a really, really tough question. It's hard to pick one song. Yeah, I don't think I could pick a favorite song. Really, that's a tough one. So I'll give some of my favorite bands, but I can't even say they're my top 5 either because that's hard to pick too. For sure, Porcupine Tree, Opeth, Tesseract, Judas Priest, Lady Gaga.
It's the
All right, fair enough. It's quite a gamut there too, yeah. So
Yeah.
Bill?
My favorite piece of music or song, I would say Beethoven, Moonlight Sonata. Yeah, to me, that's the most beautiful piece of music ever written. I love that. But my all-time favorite band is Zeppelin. So favorite songs from them, 10 Years Gone, Kashmir, No Quarter. I love those songs. I love the Beatles. As far as metal, Maiden, Priest, Queensryche, Anthrax, Megadeth. I loved all that stuff. Really loved Racer X, the whole Paul Gilbert thing. Yeah. But non-metal, I love Chicago, Frank Sinatra, the Bee Gees.
Yep. He goes back to the old school roots there too. Yep. So yeah. I was trying to keep it together because Eric was being attacked again.
When he said Lady Gaga, I'm like, oh, this is very freeing. I can speak my mind now. So
my pussy's gone crazy.
Oh, it's a naughty.
Oh, jeez,
naughty pussy.
Yeah,
Eric makes all the pussy crazy.
No, lead singer.
Our fearless leader, as we want to say.
He's gonna edit that.
No, we're putting this on YouTube right there. So that's all good though too. But all right, but all great choices there too. So, boys, we're down to one more question in my podcast. Before we jump into it, would you like to ask me anything? Any questions or say any final words?
Go ahead, Brent.
I was just going to say, how long you been doing this, man, the podcast and stuff?
I actually started during COVID, so I would argue COVID I had no problem with because I was able to work from home. I still kept a job. I mean, after the vaccine shots, I told you it felt weird, but I was fine. I'd say I want to work from home again. I want that element back because I saved money on gas. I save money on gas at least. So you want to throw your conspiracy theories out. I'm saying, like, I save money there, buddy. That's all that matters to me.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
But on a serious note, this guy started in 2021. And the very first interview was with a friend of mine. He's now a drummer in the Nashville scene. So, okay. And actually, I went to college with him. It was actually a small school in southwestern PA, Waynesburg. So,
okay. Mm-hmm.
So that was the first interview. I've been meaning to do podcasts for a while, but I never really knew how to approach it. So I think it might have been probably some friends of mine who were doing something similar, but it seemed more like a conversation, more so like what we're doing now. So I was like, right. I could probably do that. So
right on.
It took a little bit because I'm a little bit of an introvert. So,
wow. But you got good questions, man.
I try. So
yeah. I had a question for you, Brian. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask, how did you find out about us, Bryan? Because at first I thought maybe it was the Pittsburgh connection, but I guess you didn't know I was from Pittsburgh. So how did you hear about us?
They can thank the Facebook god for that. Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook app. So,
our buddy Mark, he takes care of us. Yeah.
yeah, apparently. But regardless, your parents were answered when he put a nice little post right there on Facebook, to say the least.
It just showed up in your feed?
It did, yeah. And I think it was when you were trying to promote the song Control. So,
okay.
So I
see,
saw
guys, that advertising does help sometimes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Let's spend another $15 for more promotion to reach out to more people. So.
Yeah, we are appreciative that you took an interest in the band, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Then my question is, which one of your interviews should we go back and watch if you had to pick one?
Well, the very first one that would definitely come to mind, and mainly because of his resume, was Dallas Toller Wade, formerly of Nile, and now he's with Narcotic Wasteland. So that was definitely what I was most proud of. He had a little bit of a cold, but even still, I mean, we talked for a good 2.5 hours, just talk about random shit and stuff. So
Nice.
I even wore my Nile Inner Darkened Shrine shirt during that whole interview. So
Nice.
So there been that one, but I mean, everyone else, they've been either indie musicians or they're part of a band like this. But a lot of them have at least a decent following, but I think they would still consider themselves indie, unless they probably signed to a smaller label, to say the least. So everyone's unique.
That's cool.
We'll say it like that.
Right on.
So, and hey, since you guys are based out of Florida, I interviewed a good number of musicians out there too. So
There's a lot of bands from Florida, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
do tell. So, all right. Anything else?
No, just thanks for your time, man, and for your interest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a fun interview. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
No worries. But we do have one more question, and Bill, you can start off here too. So here's how I'll word it. So given the amount of negativity that you have been seeing around in the world these days, whether it's because of the news or whatnot, these days I feel like people need some sort of hope. So what would be your message of hope for musicians and people out there so they can try to move forward with their lives?
I would say just that things usually balance out. Don't get too high with the high or too low with the lows. When you're at the worst point in your life, it's probably going to get better if you just hang in there, which is kind of the message of the band. Come out of darkness,
Right on.
Ditto.
Yeah, I would concur with what Bill said. For me, I would say as far as people, I tend to still believe in the goodness of human nature. Even with the divides that we're faced with, whether it's political or whether it's to wear a mask or not wear a mask, or it's any of that crap or whatever, the gender thing or any of that kind of stuff. Any of the stuff that I believe is planted to try and divide us, I see that most people tend to get past that, and just try not to put too much stock into somebody's political opinion, more into their human nature. Like, for example, if you're broken down on the side of the road, somebody likely to stop and help. From my own experience, I got in a car accident I guess it was 3 weeks ago. It was completely my fault, and it was a multi-car accident, but everybody involved was extremely nice. Nobody was like, hey, what were you doing? You're a dumbass or whatever. Even the cops were nice. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. Maybe partly it's because I admitted fault. And I was like, hey, it's my fault, accident, whatever, But I think there's still a lot of good people out there. As far as for a musician, I would say just keep at it, man. Just persevere. You know what I mean? What's the old saying? See if I can remember it right. Consistency of purpose is the key to success. If you just keep at it and use any kind of a failure, if you want to call it a failure, maybe that's not the right word, any kind of setback or something that didn't quite work out like you wanted, learn from that for the next time. As a lesson learned. That's how we grow, I think, as people, not just musicians. Learn from your mistakes. Try not to make the same ones again. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents.
And Eric?
I guess if you want to change your life, do it. If you want to party like it's 1999, do it. Seize the day, because tomorrow you might be gone. Also buy our album out of darknessofficial.com.
Yeah. That'll make your life 10 times better.
I knew he was going to try to do some sort of sticky promotion right there.
I knew the plug was coming. There it is.
We did at the wrong time. That was supposed to come a little later, but okay. Close enough. But spoke like a bunch of true prodigies. So, hey, Brent, good to see you. You're doing okay there, mate. That must have been kind of...
Hey, thanks, man.
No worries. I was having traumatizing, too, because, man, I don't know. I respect the red lights, even though I might try to run them at times. Especially if it's like one of those 3 or 6 second yellow lights, to say the least. So,
yeah, I mean, in the blink of an eye, man, split second, everything can change. I was just glad nobody was really hurt. That's the main thing. Cars can be fixed or replaced. So
that's
thank you.
No worries. Right. So, boys, we have reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked just a little bit shy of an hour and 50 minutes here, but I guess before we close out, would you like to give any shout-outs to anybody or any other final words?
We should give a shout-out to Tina, don't you think?
Oh, Metal Crash Radio, yeah.
Thank you, Tina Busikas and Metal Crash Radio and David Polito from the Metalist PR. Thank you guys so much for everything that you're doing for us. Also, thank you to all of our followers, our friends, our families, everybody that's been with us and is joining us, everybody that is to come. Thank all of you guys. Also, buy our album out of darknessofficial.com.
Maybe thank you to Gerald Bullitt Jr. as well. He's stepping in on bass guitar for us right now, and he is a monster player, and he is a frigging character. I mean, we all are in our own way, but they seriously broke the mold when they made that boy.
I was just hoping a good way.
They sure did.
Yeah, in a good way. No, he's great. He's pure gold, man. Never a dull moment. Never a lack for a very colorful story to share.
Very.
Never at a loss for words.
yeah, that's Gerald. And it's just a monster player, musician, and just a total stand-up guy.
Gerald had seen it all, if we like to say it. So,
well, I've seen a lot. Something about some chicken grease, but no, I won't get into that.
Yeah.
Brad, I was gonna say, Brad, what'd you do? So,
no, I'm talking about him.
You're making it sound like you were involved, though. That's the thing. So,
no, it's not like that.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't want to tell his story though. I probably wouldn't get it right, but we'll just say that's one of his many nicknames, chicken grease.
Yeah, there aren't many people that can tell stories that'll make me blush, but he can. So.
All right, fair enough. And just real quick, what social media and streaming platforms are you guys on so I could check you out and interact?
Eric?
We're on Apple Music, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. You can find us by typing at Out of Darkness Official or going to our website, outofdarknessofficial.com. Follow us on all of our pages, share with your friends, and join us in our journey.
All right, sounds
Metal lives. Metal lives because of all of you. And you,
Metal
Bryan.
lives.
It will never die. So, all right. But I have to close out like this. Just real quick, I have to close out like this. So, everyone, I guess today we're Bill, Eric, and Brent, hailing from the lovely state of Florida. They're part of the band Out of Darkness right here. We had some pretty interesting stories to talk about here, too. So, we had these guys up on all socials, all streaming platforms. So, keep your eyes out for any new material they might have later this year. Maybe some shows at some point. So, I'll leave it up to them to decide. So, boys, good luck this year with your new material and everything here too. So, y'all stay safe. Rock on. Hey, real quick, I just need a pose. Stay tuned, y'all.
Metal lives.